Because these working beauties are what we like to refer to as hired guns. Women who are hired for their beauty. So here are some tips and tricks and tactics and cognitive tools for picking up a hired gun. If she's
a lot of you gentlemen that abide by mystery method, you guys are not so much in the idea of looking at this from a pragmatic standpoint. Instead, you guys followed a religion, a cult. And I know this is going to immediately piss a lot of you guys off because you guys are going to come to me saying how mystery method is so applicable. I did it. I did it for 2.5 years. And then I found a better system. Mystery method is outdated. It's stupid. And I know the guy himself. I ran a couple of boot camps with Mystery. Mystery doesn't give a fuck about you. He's a narcissist. He doesn't care. I cared more about his clients than he did. I am not a fan of Mystery personally. I think that he's an asshole. I think that he's a massive narcissist and possibly a sociopath. And I hate saying that because immediately there's going to be so many people in the comment section below saying, what an asshole I am. I'm sorry. This is me being honest. I'm trying to help you out, man. And if you actually want to improve with women, that's your ultimate goal, you should listen to me as well. You should listen to the advice I give, regardless of how much it emotionally hits you, regardless of how much it's going to piss you off. I don't care. To be fair, my ultimate goal with this channel is to get you results. And if you want results, you should watch this fucking video. With that being said, let's get into the video.
Right wrist and left wrist, that's rain. She said, walk on. What's going on? Why am I wet?
Here's how you approach a set. Imagine there's 3 people. What I'd like to ultimately do is buy the opportunity, purchase the opportunity to sit with that one hottie. If there was some magical way I could get everyone away, you know, almost like in that 70s show where the lights dim and it becomes kind of like a dream sequence, right? All I want to do is I see the 3 set, she's gorgeous, I want a light to go on her, shining, and I want all the other people in that group to just fly away, just go away, and I'm with her. And then I want there to appear someplace I could sit with her and I could build Kino escalation. Somehow I want to get her away from that location to another one and another one and another one, holding hands with her and Kino escalating. That's the fantasy. Tra-la-la land, where she's accepting all my IOIs, my indicators of interest, and building what we call a multiple venue loop. See, the more memories she has of me in different locations, the more comfort she's going to feel for me. She's going to feel like she really knows me when it comes time for...
A big problem with me with Mystery Method is that he teaches a lot of, to be fair, applicable strategies. I do something very similar. I move girls around in a venue. I also move to different spots. Cool. But a big problem with Mystery Method is it avoids true fundamentals or truly what it takes to attract a girl. It's more about putting a Band-Aid over a gaping wound as opposed to fixing the direct problem. There's a guy who's considered creepy by girls. Is he going to be able to whatever the fuck he said? No, he's not going to be able to move her around. It doesn't make any sense. I also do have an issue with a lot of these old school pickup terms. Kino, like you're physically escalating. Like, I mean, Kino's like such a weird way of putting it. They try to again, this is more of a religion than it is like a real strategy. No guy who was ever cool or good with the girls says, I like it when I keynote her or when I keynote the girl, or it's just not something that it's like. When I got into this, because I originally started with Mystery Method myself, I got pulled into this alternate world, this fight club of sorts, and it's very seductive. This is very much a religion, but Mystery avoids the things that are going to truly get you to greatness, and he focuses on minor helps, like very small, minute things that are going to improve you. He doesn't know how much something so. Imagine that there's something that I can teach you right now that's going to make you 300% better. Why am I going to teach you the thing that's going to make you 0.5% better? I'm going to teach you instead the thing that's going to get you rapidly better faster. I'm going to avoid that stupid tactic that I might do and I might know because it's not going to improve you long term. It's not going to improve you fast enough. It's a cool strategy to know when you get better, but it's like it's not getting you to that point. Like the whole point behind Mystery Method was take guys who are terrible with women and make them good with women. And as a strategy, it's not that great. It doesn't actually move you from point A to point B if you're not already a cool guy or you don't know how to develop and become a cool guy. So it's a very limiting system.
Sexual activity. She will think to herself, do I know this guy? And all these different floods of locations with me will pop into her mind. Better to hang out with one girl for 5 hours in 5 different locations than for 5 hours in one location, right? Mm. Yes. 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 Okay. Can you repeat it one more time for me? To. Right. So what I'll do is I'll go into that. I don't have to if I'm just going to go into it, the whole topic. Right? Mm. I'd like to make this as try that again. I'd like to make this as informal as we can. Unfortunately, we're all like this, so I don't know what parts. Now you're throwing cameras back to me. I'm not going to do a syllabus for this because I don't know what you want for those cameras. Oh, great. Well, here, gentlemen, here's what's going to take place. I'm going to make you pickup artists. All right?
Stop trying to be a pickup artist. Yes, go out and approach. Yes, do all the things that somebody wants, but we get this vision, like a lot of guys start into this, they're going to become a wizard. Most pickup artists, to be fair, are creepy because they don't know what the fuck to do, and they started off. It's hard to go from a creepy guy to a cool guy. It takes a lot of effort, and it's a lot easier to fake like you know everything. Like most dating coaches I know don't get the results they talk about. They don't know they don't know how to coach. They don't know how to actually produce the results. They're self-lying about how well they're doing, and they're backwards rationalizing why they're great and awesome and why the strategy works. You instead want to look at the guys. You want to become instead a popular guy. You want to shoot for being the popular extroverted guy. When I go to a club, I'm approaching, yes, but I'm approaching from the headspace of a cool guy, not the headspace of a pickup artist. I'm approaching from a guy who, yes, has direction, yes, is coming there with an outcome somewhat in mind, but I'm not approaching thinking, all right, now time to execute set strategy C plus C1, then C2, and then like pulling that escalator. I gotta no, I'm not. Don't emulate pickup artists. Emulate the cool guys. You want to shoot for the direct goal of becoming a popular, outgoing, cool guy, a masculine entity, somebody that's fun and free, who is a boss, who's a bad motherfucker, not a pickup artist.
Clear out, simple. You're going to have a pickup artist inside your head that you can turn on when needed to get the girl, and then turn off when you don't need. Like a circuit in your head. And it's going to know how to turn on the attraction mechanism that is hardwired into a woman's head. It is not pseudoscience. We incorporate the concepts of sexual psychology into a very lovely little system. We backwards engineer how the brain works, why it was designed the way it was designed, so that we could understand her, better understand ourselves. You know, there are more similarities among men and women than there are differences. We just have to, focus on the similarities so that we can understand who she is and how she behaves, what her behavioral system is like based on ours. And then there are specific nuances that differentiate us. And we're going to zoom into that too, why it is behaviorally women act a certain way versus another. I'm a very rational, logical, grounded human being. Really, I am. Perhaps you'll discover that in the next few days. I don't have wild beliefs that are absolutely outrageous. I'm going to stick to a scientific methodology.
He's taken a while to get to the point, but I wanted to mention this. I know that I have a wild fashion sense in a way, but it's not because I'm doing peacocking. Everybody always asks me, am I doing this because of peacocking? No, I'm fitting an archetype. I fit an archetype, and for me personally, as I've studied fashion, I got into it, I want to fit an archetype. So when I approach a girl, she says to herself, this is a guy who's likely to be cool. And for me, I like rock and roll. This is an archetype I like. So I took on the bad boy rock and roll guy. It's the look, it's the trend. But I'm not over here wearing a boa hat. If you're one of those guys out there who's bad at reading social cues and you can't tell yet when a girl likes you, and you decide you're going to wear a boa hat, it's not going to make girls more into you. Now, here's the one thing that it could do. If a girl did find you attractive, it would give her an in to say hi to you. That's one of the few things it would do. If you're looking at fashion, you want to get good with fashion as a pickup artist, you want to more focus on taking on archetypes that girls are currently in current society are into. So right now, you're basically playing a logical attraction, which I've explained on this channel multiple times. There's emotional and logical attraction. I'm not going to get into it right now. It's going to be too long-winded. But in terms of there being logical attraction, it's an archetype that girls currently like. You want to assume an archetype that you see the guys in your current environment are dressing as. Look at the guys in your environment, the people that are out and about, the guys that are getting the girls that you want. How are they dressing? Emulate them. Don't emulate the guy in the boa hat.
Have you guys ever developed a crush on your favorite waitress at a restaurant? Because these working beauties are what we like to refer to as hired guns. Women who are hired for their beauty. So here are some tips and tricks and tactics and cognitive tools for picking up a hired gun. If she's working, you should be doing something. Either you are the observed or the observing. And we all want to be the observed. And that's where flash game comes into play. Now, the term flash game actually comes from people who take a photograph of you and then others turn to see what's going on. Now, if you are just there going, then you're actually going to lower your social value for the rest of the room because you're flashing negative value. But instead, imagine if you had women with you. And you were smiling and laughing, and you were taking pictures, and you were saying, all right, hands up, women, please. That sort of behavior within that flash moment will show pre-approval and pre-selection from women to all the other women in the room. And that bartender needs to know that you are pre-selected, right? Make sure you have specific routines and, jokes and have a good sense of humor. Systematically demonstrated with the material that you have accrued over however many months you've been in the game. And over the shoulder, you begin in A3. So what do you got going for you more than your looks? And that's how you initiate the chat with the bartender. A hostess and a waitress, game is game, but you want to systematically demonstrate those DHV spikes as opposed to say them, because we have no time to say them. But you can get the spike to her or flash her from a distance. If I'm speaking with girls, I'm looking over the shoulder, she's working, okay, I'm telling a couple humorous anecdotes, getting response from these girls, and as they're about to laugh, I'm looking, not yet, okay, I'll just add a little timing here to it, and she's turning, and they start laughing, and then I say, all right, hands up. Did she see it? Perfect.
Again, it's the same thing I mentioned before. This is not something that's going to get anybody that does not have basics and fundamentals of being attractive down, who is not a sexy, charismatic guy, who lacks belief in himself to get results with women. This is such a seductive system because men, we're very logical. We're made to shoot for a goal, and we want clear objectives. Yes, you do. And it's one of the hardest things I have with engineers when they come to me for coaching is teaching them to have that emotional intelligence. And something that a lot of people have to pick up over time, that ability to read social cues, to understand group dynamics in a very intuitive way. But breaking it down like this, it's not going to get that guy results. If it's just so much more effort than a guy needs to take. If you study mystery method, it's going to take you so much longer to get good at this than if you were to take the more direct route. There's so much better. There's a way better way of learning game than this. And I've seen so many people getting stuck in Creepyville, not capable of picking up girls and saying that this shit can't get better. It's because of my looks or this or that. Or even worse, they're self-lying. And they're like, I'm doing way better with women than I thought. That girl is actually checking me out. Oh, I got a phone number. Yay, a phone number. Yay. But you're not getting anywhere. You're spinning your wheels, and you're You got caught up in ego. You got caught up in a religion that isn't serving you. You need a better strategy. You need a better tool. You need a better vehicle. You're running on a vehicle with flat tires. You want a Ferrari.
There are people that aren't living like us. We have tools at our disposal. We have the internet to catch ourselves up to speed. We have each other and a way of communicating with each other so that whatever you learn in field, you can bring to others, and whatever they learn, they can bring to you. It's collaborative. My job here is to catch you up to speed in the world of pickup, not enough so that you can just get laid, but enough so that you can teach it to your son. This is serious business. The rules, the strategies, the techniques that I have collected, discovered, or created over the last 15 years. I never meant to be a pickup artist. I just wanted a girlfriend. Just wanted to be loved. This stuff, if you apply it systematically, will work. Just like you have a laptop and there are people on the planet who don't, and they look to you with envy, and you look to them like, oh.
I've known more people that it doesn't work for than it works for. I've known more people that are stuck, who are still creepy, who are approaching girls and getting harshly blown out, who are using the system he's speaking of directly, verbatim, memorized time and time again, and yet they still don't get results. Not everybody gets results from Mystery Method. To be fair, I've known a lot of guys who've gotten very creepy, me included. I was trying to use all these tactics instead of understanding mindsets, tonality, body language, knowing that the man I am underneath the skin, the person underneath the man that is expressing himself to a woman is the biggest gauge of whether or not a girl's going to like me. Who am I? Because the self is always coming through.
Oh, well, man, I've got a laptop. I'm used to it, right? There will come a time where, and it may be soon for some of you, you may already be good. I don't know. I have to still go around the room, right? There's going to come a time that you're simply going to know this so well that you'll have women in your life. You'll have women in your life because you're doing a series of tasks, step by step, that get women in your life. Just like you got the laptop. There's a series of steps that took place. There's a lot of technology in a woman. If we can backwards engineer how she's built in terms of an AI, it's just that alone, yet.
Look, I've met Mystery personally, and he is the biggest D-bag in the world. And if he was a nice guy and he was cool and he's a good person, I wouldn't be making this video. I would assume that he had people's best intentions in mind, but he hasn't changed anything about his strategy or his styles or his coaching since back in the game. It's the same exact thing he's always been teaching. He's never been trying to improve or evolve. He seems very much like a narcissist, and he doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't. All right, this guy that you're putting on your shoulders as the Jesus, as the Messiah, he's not. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He does. To be fair, in the era that he was in, it made sense. They didn't know anything, honestly, and there wasn't so much in the way of infield or testing. It was all forums. They were working off of written accounts of what happened, and guys lie. Guys lie. If you ever read the book, I know this because I know how game works. Neil Strauss was bending the truth quite a bit in what would happen in certain situations. As somebody that's a professional dating coach, he was bending the truth. And so then these guys back then didn't have a lot of feedback. They didn't have the amount of information that we have now. But Mystery is so stuck because he's such an egotistical prick that he can't learn from his old mistakes. He thinks he's perfect. He's a grandiose narcissist. And to admit that he could learn something would be to admit that he's not perfect. And that's why he's a terrible coach, and that's why you shouldn't be listening to Mystery Method. There's way better strategies. We know a lot more now. And if you're somebody that's stuck in this religion, Time to break out of the cult. If you guys are interested in coaching, text me at 702-841-9909. And with that being said, peace.
Rain, right wrist and left wrist, that's rain. She said, walk on, what's going on? Why am I wet? Gal, that's rain. Car when we run down, it's rain. Right wrist and left wrist, that's rain. She said, walk on, what's going on? Why am I wet? Gal, that's rain. Yeah. Me and R-Kid doing up money. Gal on curry, neck McFlurry. When you snap your receipts, that's funny. Jeans say, please be a bank.